GM. Trade of the day, looking at Bitcoin. So yesterday, we've had now 3 days in a row. We had a manufacturing data, which was 1:45 p.m. over here. That was the Wednesday news. You can see we're back above that level now. We had yesterday's GDP data, which is 12:30 over there. And so you can see the moves off both of them. The manufacturing data produced a couple of weak pushes higher and then a nice trend lower. I said this yesterday, don't be surprised to see the opposite, as everyone got themselves bearish on Wednesday. Going into Thursday, we ended up seeing an attempt to push lower that rejected and then a move higher. Prices continued to trend up from there. Now we're going into the inflation number, the core PCE, and I could see that carrying us probably to the highs. And we are above the 60, I don't need that alert. We are above the 67k old value area, which if I zoom out, you can see it here, right? That previous May-June value area. And maybe there's a further push to come up into the highs. There's obviously plenty of gaps getting left behind. We've got the data release at the usual 12:30. And I think that whatever way it goes from here, you want to treat it the same, right? It's plenty of gaps and room to backfill down below. Little bit of easy targets above for some stops. I wouldn't have a strong opinion on the inflation number itself unless it's a big beat or a big miss, right? Unless it comes in significantly higher or lower than expectation. It's not going to change. It's not going to change the odds of a September rate cut, right? Very unlikely. It's basically that's 100% priced in. So clearly people in the know have it on good authority that rate cut's coming. And so inflation is going to become less of an issue, less of a factor in the eyes of the public, and the inflation trade is, the inflation trade is done. We do have lower inflation. Betting on high inflation is an old thing that seems to be behind us. And we're going to be going for, at best, a re-acceleration of inflation, maybe, but we're not going back to 9% inflation anytime soon. So I think the markets has moved on quite a while ago, but even in terms of this rate cutting cycle, market is moving on. And so the data just traded Wednesday, Thursday. I've showed you guys how I trade it using the open price and using it, wait for the first 15 minutes to happen, 15, 20 minutes, see what happens from there. Plenty of systems and strategies you can build around that. And outside of that, the easiest directional trade you'll see is actually a downtrend. Not because we're suddenly bearish or anything. I think we can go higher, but just from an intraday perspective, when we're already up this much, and if we go up again and we take out those highs, this part of the trade is negative EV when you compare it to all of that. You're trying to chase the very last part. So in fact, whether it's from here or whether it's from higher, the better trade is filling in some of that left behind untested levels. Now, whether it goes all the way back down or just goes down 1 or 2 steps, I just think the easiest move you'll get is a move back. Maybe it's just going to be a retest of this, and this is like a protracted sort of under over, and you see price initially spike up, take out some stops, and then fall down, and then form a higher low in there. Maybe it's going to look something like that. Would there be much to stop price in that area? Seems like a pretty solid support resistance level, right? It was previously a resistance. We broke through it, briefly acted as support, could come back and act as support again later on. And yeah, so higher time frame. I would not have really much or not higher, like lower time frame, I wouldn't have much of a long bias here. I think a lot of that move has been already priced in. You know, we went from 63.4 up to 67.4. You know, that's 4K in price terms. That is 7%, almost 8% on BTC. Yeah, 6-7% in the space of a matter of hours, less than 12 hours, or just about 12 hours. That's a rapid move that will probably need some time to consolidate and fill back in. I think by the way, the reason for that, you know, a couple of reasons. So remember where we were at the start of the week. So it's always important to keep your weekly context in mind. And our weekly open was over here, this price here. There's the weekly open, right? So at the weekly open, everyone was excited about Trump speaking at the Bitcoin conference and all of this. And then price dropped off. And really all it did was just very simply fill in this inefficiency. Nothing bearish about that. Left a gap behind. Opened the week. Down it goes, down it goes, down it goes, down it goes. People start to get bearish for some insane reason, even though it's just backfilling an inefficiency. And now we're springboarding back to where we started. Because really, a lot of the selling, especially Tuesday and Wednesday selling, was led by the stock market selling off. And I was consistently watching, and crypto was stronger all the way. Bitcoin was bouncing more. Bitcoin seemed to not want to go down, but correlation algos would drag it down as the Nasdaq and S&P sold off. And now we're kind of just reverting back to where we started. So I wouldn't even say that this is overbought. Yes, the move up has been pretty fast, and I wouldn't pile in long up into resistance. But I think we're just returning back to where we came from, because what has changed about crypto this week? Nothing, right? There's no big negative news. There's nothing has majorly changed to alter the pricing of crypto to make it suddenly bearish. And it seems like then people just got a bit carried away with the selling based on the stock market. And that's going to revert now as we move up and head towards Trump speaking at the Bitcoin conference tomorrow. So don't be surprised if there is a minimal downside. Like this area here that I'm looking at is also this morning's daily open. That might be a level you get to see. You might get to see a move back down to there today or tomorrow. I think that's the dip to buy though, because I think we're going higher. And I don't even know if we get that move down. Maybe all of this gets left and we have to go higher first and fill it back in later, right? You know, it's like any of these moves that happen where you have a move up through the range, right? Like you had this move up through the range here, and this all looked like it needed to get filled in. What the price did, went higher, it went higher, it went higher, and eventually took a while to come back. I don't see why we couldn't go all the way up to 70 before eventually coming back and filling in a lot of that, putting in another higher low, and then going for breakout next month or whenever. So we've also been blessed with pretty good trading conditions this week. We've had some nice moves. We had some nice down moves. We had some nice rallies. I wouldn't expect necessarily that much today. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how the inflation data comes out. I'll be just same thing, trading the trading the core PCE. Maybe no other trades today. I don't know. Depends. And just waiting to see how all this shakes out. It's all setting up nicely for Bitcoin higher time frame. Some swing trades forming nicely too. Don't forget we're above the 4-hour trend, right? People are looking for reasons to be bearish when we've had our first bullish shift in ages. This is not the time to be looking for reasons to be bearish. We are in a 4-hour early uptrend. This is not the place to be bearish. I cannot repeat that enough. And the time to be bearish is when we were downtrending. The time to not be bearish is when we break the downtrend and then we hold there and we spend 2 weeks there and we break everything bullish and the bands are fully bullish again and Bitcoin's daily chart looks like that and it's consolidating above. Like, no reason to be bearish here. So, GM.